Okay, good morning. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple different trades, and specifically the ribbon crossing trade today. And I'm going to go over six different ones. And in these trades, you'll be able to see which ones I'm going to take and which ones to avoid, and the filter I use to avoid them. And so I hope this helps with the ribbon crossing trade. They do happen often, but they can also burn you too if you don't use this filter. So today I'm going to show you the filter and which of these six trades, three I'm going to take, three I would avoid. Okay. And at the end, I have a little caveat I want to share with you. So with that being said, let's switch over right to the charts, okay? So on the left side, I have my trade of eight charts up, and on the right-hand side, I just widen the middle graph of my charts, okay? This you can find on C3 Algo. The first ribbon crossing that we're going to look at, so this is 7:30 Central Standard Time, and this is West Coast time. We're going to look at the 7:41 and 7:42 crossing, these crossings right here, okay? Now, if we look at this crossing, it looks pretty strong. This is a 741 crossing. It crossed right through this ribbon, and it's looking like it'd be a decent size, decent trade, especially because at 744 you get this bar completes. But what happens after 741? Now let's go take a peek, and I'll tell you why I didn't take this trade. Okay, at 740 here we have a red bar, and then at 741 another red bar. And this is the sequence that I use. It's the PBJ filter. I fully expected that the 742 minute mark was going to be green because of the two bars previous to that were both red. And the sequence of the PBJ trade always goes, the same color, so red, red, and then green. Okay, and so when this bar closed, it was the 741, which is this minute right here. And then the 742, avoided it because I expected it to go green, which it did. And according to the open and high, which was $4.50, depending where what got me in on, it could have stopped me out there. So I did not take this trade. It was looking like it was going to set up perfectly, but it was one that I was like, I can't take this trade. This is just crazy. Um, and I really wanted to push the button, but I was like, no, don't take that one because of that sequence with the trade of eight. So let's go through the next one. I'm going to show you the good one. It happened just a few minutes later, okay? So let's go back to the charts. So a couple minutes later at this crossing right here, 745 and 746. Now, I'm going to point these two out as a good ribbon crossing. All right, so let's look at this as to why I would have taken this trade. So let's look at the 745 minute. So let's go, it is right, so let me expand this a smidge. Right here, 745. Now I'm looking beforehand and I'm looking at these red candles on Tradovate and it went red, red. Fully expect to go green, which it did. Okay. Now here we have something cool. And this is why this trade is totally good to take. At the 746, crossed the purple line, plus did was out of that sequence of like red, red, green. Now if you see the very next bar at 747 is red. So in the sequence it went green, green, red. Okay. But the one we cared about was at 46. And this opened up at 13.50. It closed at 18. So $4.50, depending where you get into it. Easy 10, 12, 16 ticks on this trade. So this would have been this bar right here. So I would have entered in right in the close of this guy, took that trade because of the sequence. Okay. The sequence was red, red, green. I expected another green one. So there's one trade that I avoided because of the filter, and one trade that I got into because of also the filter. Now, the filter isn't entirely perfect. Sometimes it keeps me out of good trades as well, but it avoids trades that would have hurt me. Okay, let me go to the next one. Just a few minutes after that. So yeah, we have almost three trades that are back to back within 10 minutes. But this is one that I would avoid as well. And I'm going to point out why I avoided this trade. It is this little guy here, this Crazy Ivan, 750, okay? Now, the time set up here at 749 and then 750. And I was hoping that either one would have another bar to cross down, or two, that it would have gone to Crazy Ivan and this next bar would close at 751, which it did. It came very close to doing it. It was 752. But without having that extra Crazy Ivan, that's different trade. I'll talk about that one, different trade. Then this is why I would have avoided this. So let's take a look over the trade evade, okay? So again, we're looking at the times of 49, 50, 51. What happened during those times? And let's see what happened. So we have, here's 50. So here's 49. So it goes 48's red, red, sorry, green, green, and then a red at 50, and then it turned green. And the reason why I avoided this trade is because number one, this bar didn't break through all the way through the purple line, okay? Very key for me. And I felt like the trade was weak. It stayed above the purple line. And then I'm lucky with that because it didn't go anywhere. Uh, it opened at 13, went high of 18. If I would have hit sell, I would have really close to stop out, especially the next minute if I would have stayed in there. And that's what you got to avoid is these crazy Ivan trades. And it's two filters. One, you watch the sequence, and two, to see if it would can cross the purple line. So let me show you another example, okay? I'm gonna show you another one. Also to avoid, it happened at 8:05, so just a few minutes later. All these trades happen within about an hour. Okay. So looking at six different trades, three take, three are good, three to avoid. So let's keep moving down. So let's go to 8:05 and 5 and 6 after the hour. Okay. Right here. Okay. So here's 8:05. Now this one is kind of a gut shot. Like, did it cross? Did it not cross? I do not know. Um, and it's just one you're like, what? Did it cross? I wouldn't have known exactly. Um, and if I took this trade, it was 6 and 8:07. What happened to 8:07? Because the next bar closed at 8:08. So let's take a look at those. So here's 8:05, here's 8:06. So again, that's 8:05, that's 8:06. And so this is why I wouldn't have taken this trade. So if I would have said, hey, I think that bar crossed and I need to get in at 8:06, but let's take a look at this little candle. Even though the candle ended up red, it opened up at 32 and the high was 36.75. So it went up $4. The low was only 31.25, so not what we were looking for. And again, it started off green and then it went red instantly. But again, I was thinking that this bar was going to turn green, and that's why I avoided it. I didn't take this trade because I was thinking that it was totally going to be green. And so I sat this whole entire trade out. Let me show you a good crossing, which happened just 6 minutes later at this bar right here. So we're gonna go look at the 12 and minute 12 and minute 13. Okay, so these guys two right here. So this bar crossed the ribbon. And so I was looking at this thinking, hey, it's gonna cross the ribbon. It's a good trade to make. And so let's take this buy. And let me show you on the filter side as to why that was working that way. Okay. So on the filter, I have a red one there at 11. I got green, green at 12, and another green at red, which is perfect because this is 12 right here, and then that's 13. Now look in the sequence. The key is the sequence with the charts. Is it has to go green, green, red, or if it's out of that sequence, or red, red, green, if it's in those two sequences, then I avoid it totally. But this is cool. This crossed the purple line. I believe I'll check in a second. And it wasn't in that sequence of doom. Okay. So here's 12. So just there's a red one there. It would turn green. So I'm like, hey, it's all fair game. Let's do this. And then 13. So it was right at the bar. And it opened up at 33, went to 38.50, so went up $5, 20 ticks. Great trade to make right there, okay? And then with that being said, let's go to the very next one or two. Okay, so I don't do it at, this is the opening bell, 8:30, 8:31. There's some huge candles in that mess, and so I just avoided those guys. And so we're gonna go a little bit further down in the morning, and we're gonna take the 51.52 trade. Now the 49 didn't cross the ribbon. And I saw that in live time, and so I knew it wasn't gonna take that one. But I was hoping that the 51 and 52 were gonna work out. So let's see if this was a good trade on using the filters. Okay, so in sequence, we have green, green, red at 650. Okay. So 650 is right somewhere in between these two, okay, 49.50. So I'm thinking I'm okay still. What I was hoping for was two more greens afterwards because two more greens is boom, 851, that's the crossing, and then 852, that's where I enter. So again, here is 850, and then that's 851, and I knew, so I wasn't in that sequence of doom, I should enter right there. And sure enough, that went up from open at 90 and then the high of one, so it went up $11. That's what is it? 44 ticks, give or take. It only went down, let's see, went down to 89, so just went down 5 ticks. Great trade. Tons of money right there. Great trade. All right, so those are the 6 trades I wanted to go over in about an hour time span. But what I want to talk about is the reverse side of that, okay? So if that sequence tells me to avoid a trade, to not go in the same direction, but I can also use that the opposite way. So for example, at the, let's just go back a little bit, and I'm gonna show this one, just to show you what I'm talking about. So let me just scroll back to 741, 742 times, which is 541, 542 our time, or where I'm at right now. So if I saw the sequence popping up, 541, but I was expecting a buy right here, maybe I just take the buy. Okay. The ribbon crossing again was 741, 742. Okay, so it would have been right after this bar closed, and it's a decent sized bar moving down. There's going to be retraction. So take that buy right there. Because in sequence, it went red, red. I'm fully expecting a green. So you can either use that as a filter, say, hey, I'm going to sit this one out, or you could get kind of cheeky and say, this is going to be a buy. And if you see a little bit of green form, most likely it'll keep going that direction. So you should take it. All right, that's my caveat for the day. All right, so 6 trades, 3 to get in on, 3 to avoid. But this is the filter I use when I use the ribbon crossing trade, okay? It kept me out of 3 bad ones, and then it kept me in 3 good ones. Easily made a ton of ticks, ton of money doing this. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. And see you next time. Oh, that's what my parents always told me. I gotta remember, make sure I say this because my mom's like, make sure you tell them to say their prayers and have a great day.